Hello, YouTube. I am back. There's one more thing that I forgot to address today. Like I said, when I speak of Rashida Strober, I only speak about what she speaks about. I don't create, I don't add, and I don't take away. Now, today in her video, which was played on Shitty Greg's show today, she was speaking about systemic economic darkism. That's what she called it. And what she was speaking is exactly what was posted on social media. Well, the conversation started in the 1950s. This is how far back it was started. It was posted on social media in 1987 on social media before Rashida Strober, way before Rashida Strober. Matter of fact, Rashida Strober wasn't even born when this was posted on the internet. So everybody knows about this. So again, it's called systemic economic racism. But of course, Rashida took off the racism and replaced it with darkism. And basically, what she was talking about is systematic racism, which is the discrimination based on race and ethnicity. Takes many forms. The United States has made progress in eliminating some of the institutional legalized racial discriminations of years past, such as slavery, Jim Crow laws, separate but equal schools, and prohibitions on voting or owning land, which is systematic racism. That's just one of them. And these conversations started in the late 50s and 60s. Now, a lot of the stuff that Rashida covered, which she took away the racism and put it, like she does with colorism, she replaces with the word darkism. So she was talking about unemployment rates for African Americans, Latinos, and Native Americans are considerably higher than the national average. Growing income inequality increasingly affects minorities. Again, she took out everybody else and just equated it to dark people. But this is a thing for people of color in general, specifically mostly black people. But she took away everybody else and it's only darkism. In the United States, median wealth for white households is 10 times greater than for black households and 8 times greater than for Hispanic households. Minority home ownership rate lag behind their white counterparts, and yet research shows that minorities face extra hurdles in getting approved for mortgages. This is another thing which she was talking about. She was talking about that. That is systematic economy racism. But of course, she took out the racism and added darkism, like she does with every other topic she does, so that she can say, I'm the one who started this. She actually said nobody was talking about this before her. Another one. So it's crazy. America remains a deeply divided place in many, many ways. Many Americans of all racial and ethnic backgrounds live in neighborhoods that are homogeneous. This often limits the opportunity to learn from, interact with, and befriend people who are racially and ethnically different. Basically, they're talking about the people who live in the hood, the ghettos, the black neighborhoods, the Spanish neighborhoods. Minorities. White people like to call blacks the minorities as well. Yet having experience living near those with different experiences and backgrounds can strengthen communities and the body of Christ. Many people of color living in low-income areas experience low or no upward economic mobility due to limited access to quality schools, safe neighborhoods, reliable transportation, or higher paying jobs. Laws and practices in more affluent communities, such as refusing rent assistance vouchers, can prevent low-income persons from moving into these communities. As a result, dialogue and encounter with others with diverse backgrounds, experiences, and opinions can be limited or non-existent. So this is basically what she was talking about. It contributes to or breaks down racial divisions, intolerance, and discrimination. The failure to act to end systemic racism hurts those who are victimized and denies all of us the opportunity to benefit the gifts of diversity. 1986. This study was posted on social media, on the internet, covered by many, many people. Rashida Strober did not invent this. Racism can only end if we contend. Systematic racism can only end if we contend with the policies and institutional barriers that perpetrate and preserve the inequality, economic and social, that we still see all around us. With renewed vigor, we call on members of the body of Christ to join others in advocating and promoting policies at all levels that will combat racism and its effects in our civic and social institutions. This is basically what Rashida was talking about today. And she actually had the nerve to say nobody was talking about this until I did. Like she does with every other goddamn topic she does. It's crazy that she thinks this way. And I know she doesn't believe it, but she wants you to believe that she believes it. And it's a topic that exists, that always has. The only difference is she takes away certain words and adds her darkism word, like she does with everything. Because as you know, everything with Rashida Strober is darkism this, darkism that. I experienced darkism. It's like, it's fucking like sickening already. So there's a thing here that said, what is systemic and systematic racism? There's like, oh my God, there's so much stuff here. 86, 87, 91, 94. Systemic racism lives across institutions and societies since the late 1950s. The wealth gap has been spoken about since the 1960s, and the employment, housing discrimination, governmental surveillance, incarceration, drug arrests, immigration arrests, infant mortality. Yes, systemic racism is really a thing. This has been going on forever. And Rashida always talked about this. Did you know that in 2010, Black Americans made up 13% of the population, but had only 2.7% of the country's wealth? That's the median net worth for a white family. The median net worth for a white family is $134,000 a year, but the median net worth for a Hispanic family was $14,000 a year. And for a Black family, it was $11,000. The median for a single white woman is measured at about $41,000, while for a Hispanic woman is about $140. And for a Black woman, $120. Do you know what that's called? That's called systematic economic racism. It's crazy that this stuff is all, and as you noticed, Rashida Strober in that video today, she was on the computer, pulling up columns, pulling up authors, and that's what she was reading. None of those things had Rashida Strober's name on them. But according to her, She created it. Nobody else would have been talking about it if it wasn't for her. But not one of those things have Rashida Marie Strober's sign of approval on it. Don't you find this kind of ironic, Miss Strober, that you claim you spent that whole hour and a half, 2 hours, I don't even know how long you was on there. It was over an hour. You spent that whole time on that video today, Sunday, reading other authors and other people's notes. And then you had the nerve to say, well, I started this. You actually said that after you were reading everybody else's shit. You said, I started this, I created this. Nobody would have been talking about this if it wasn't for me. Because you took the racism and the colorism name out and slapped darkism on it. And speaking about basically the same shit, but just equating it to just dark-skinned black people. There is no study of systematic racism on dark-skinned black people. It's just black people. Racism, white people who applied this systemic economy racism against people of color, they don't give a fuck if you're light or you're dark. It doesn't matter. It only matters that you're black. They don't say, oh, 14% of dark black people have this compared to 25% of light black people. It's just shit that you're just making up as you go along just so that you can feel that you're creating something. But you know what? You have no numbers. The numbers that you actually used today were all whole ball numbers equating to black people. But you just said dark black people. You're obsessed with your dark black skin. I know you wish you was light skinned. I know you do. You totally despise your dark skin. And that's why you're so obsessed with this darkism crap. In a word you didn't even invent. You just took a word that means something of evil and added it to darkism instead of colorism and racism, because that's exactly what you're talking about. So I just want people to, I just wanted to cover that little piece that she did today on that video. That's just one of the lies. That video is full of lies. It would take me fucking 6 hours to break it all down. But look it up. It's just free shit. And she ended that video saying, "Oh, let me stop. I'm giving all this information away for free. And y'all gotta have to give me some cash app if y'all want me to continue. I can't give this away for free." She was giving away for free shit that she was fucking researching online from all the other authors. I mean, don't you people notice? She's online. She's not pulling up her content. She's pulling up everybody else's content and just reading it. And then saying, I started this. Oh my God. Rashida followers. Come on, wakey, wakey. Shit, Eddie Barrios from the Bronx. Y'all peace out. It's funny as hell.